and welcome to today's reading. Today we are using Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and as always, all of the books or decks that are used in my readings are linked in the description box, so if you want to check out any of the materials we used today, you can go down there and see that. And we are on page 161.5, Results. Lori observed carefully and filled her notebook with measurements, charting the vigor of each plot. She worried a little when the control plots were looking a little sickly. She was relying on these controls, the unharvested patches, to be the reference point for comparing the effects of harvesting in the other plots. We hoped they would perk up when spring came. By the second year, Lori was expecting her first child. The grass grew and grew, as did her belly. Bending and stooping became a little more difficult, to say nothing of lying in the grass to read plant tags. But she was faithful to her plants, sitting in the dirt among them, counting and marking. I'm seeing the experience of embarking on a journey or setting a goal and already having an idea of how it's going to pan out. But as you're actually putting one foot in front of the other, it doesn't look the same as what you expected. And not only that, there are things that you never would have thought would happen are happening now. And it's making you question whether or not you will reach your goal, since it wasn't in your initial plan or your initial projection of what might occur should you choose to take these actions. So it may be that you are currently in this position that you decided to work on something or start a journey, something new, a new venture. Maybe you are starting a business or a new spiritual practice, and you chose this after doing a lot of thought and processing and mental projection or a literal projection, where you played out step by step what the journey might look like for you and whether or not you would be likely to reach the results that you are hoping to reach. And now that you are on this path, you may be seeing things you didn't expect. And mostly what's coming through is that this is totally normal. It's to be expected when you do anything at all. It doesn't matter how many probabilities you calculate and how much information you have in advance. There are things you just won't know until you get there and actually experience it. Most of the things that are happening that might be causing you to question whether or not this was a good idea would have happened regardless of whether you did more planning or not. You wouldn't have known that they were there, and you still would have run into them. It's not an indicator that you are on the wrong path. It is an indicator that you are actually experiencing the real thing. There's an entire difference between playing a video game or mentally projecting your potential pathway and actually living it. It's why we come to this planet to begin with. Physicality is the real experience that our spiritual selves can't have without the three-dimensional space for it to occur in. It's just not possible for us to know everything that's going to happen in advance. In addition to that, your experiences that will come up along the way, some of them may be completely dependent on you. Someone else may have gone down the same path you're going down and they wouldn't have run into the same things, but you are, because it's you. And those things are surprises, if you will, given a specific path. However, that's perfect. That's what you're really looking for, is the uniqueness of the path. Anybody could do X, Y, Z and end at the end of the alphabet, but only you could do X, Y, Z and also discover unicorns and fairies along the way, if that makes any sense to you. Because of that, it's important that there are so many people taking similar paths. And even if your path is a unique one, it's still important and necessary for you specifically to be the one experiencing it, because your experience of it and with it creates an entirely different dynamic than it would for someone else having the same path, even with very similar or identical life circumstances. There is unique value in every single experience that you have, even more so with the ones that are surprising and that you don't expect. You can use your projections as somewhat of a measurement for you still getting to where you're going, like road signs, for example, but the road sign map doesn't mark all of the different types of plant and animal life you're going to find along the way. It doesn't mark all of the different cars and other vehicles you'll pass on your journey. It doesn't mark all of the intricacies of that particular moment when you are there in that particular place, space, and time. So what I'm seeing is that you can use this map that you created, the projection, as, like I said, a mark of, yep, I'm going the right way. And rather than using these things you kind of didn't expect to happen along the way as more indicators, use them as the actual experience. Let that unfold completely on your journey, and don't pay attention to them as far as a measurement for your success. That's for your bigger markers that you already planned for. Another thing that I'm getting is that you may have a goal to get to a certain place, and that's perfectly fine, and you will get there, I am seeing. However, the real reason your soul is on this journey is to get somewhere entirely different. And you will reach the goal that you are expecting to reach consciously now in getting to the next goal. And that will be revealed to you later on. So I guess the point of you knowing that right now is that this is bigger than that one goal you are thinking of. Even though for you right now, that might be absolutely everything. This information isn't being highlighted for you to change anything that you're doing, but more to give you a little bit of wiggle room when you start panicking about potentially not making it to this particular goal, so that you can better enjoy the experience along the way. So if you can allow yourself to detach from this one goal that you have consciously in your mind being the end-all be-all, and realize or remember when you start to panic that this is part of your goal. This is the one that you can see, but in fact, it's a much bigger thing that's happening in your life, and that thing encompasses your goal. And I'm seeing a big sphere, and your goal is like 1/100th size of that sphere inside of it. It's very small compared to the bigger picture for you. I'm also seeing that you're already inside of the sphere. So in a way, you've already made it. You are exploring this whole bigger picture goal. So the experiences along the way, you're actually collecting parts of this giant experience in which this goal that you have in mind is rolled up into. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if it did, if it resonated. Like this video if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell and select all notifications so that you get updated every time I upload a new video. Until next time, bye!